Hello, welcome back to my channel. As the new year's coming up on us, it is the middle of December right now, so we got a couple weeks. I'm going to be talking about how to plan out projects with a spread that I call my 8-week plan, which can be adapted to 12-week plan or pretty much any number of weeks that you can fit on a single spread. I have been using an 8-week plan in my current bullet journal. I use it for my social media tracker, as you can see here. On the left, we have each of the 8 weeks and in a calendar format. And then on the right, we have another spread that's separate, but it uses the information in the 8-week plan to sort of graph things out. And you guys seem to really like the graphs here, so I may do a future video on those. And then up top here we have the names of the videos with little sticker dots and numbers next to each one. I'll talk about those a little later. Really, the star of the show is this calendar here with the 8 weeks and all the stickers and information that I record on them for a specific project. In this case is my social media. And I do have an example of if you were to use this to track 12 weeks, it just barely fits on one spread of the Leuchtturm 1917. If you have a bigger notebook, you can fit either bigger grid squares or more weeks. This one I used for my workout planning. As you can see, there's little bicycles and stuff. And then here also is the original iteration of my social media tracker where I did try the 12 weeks. And you can see I was drawing in the little dots here with pen, and I ended up having to white a bunch of them out and draw these little lines, moving them around as I changed my schedule. So that's the big reason I switched to the new version, which actually had the dots of stickers instead of drawing in everything. So flipping back to the social media spread, this is the spread I'm going to be talking the most about today, and it's kind of the layout for what I'm going to be showing you in my test journal. And first I'm going to talk about how it works. Each of these things at the top is a task. For the social media spread, it's a video that I need to film, edit, and post, and each of those items has a color. Blue is for film, purple is for edit, and then post is red. And you can see each video has its number, and then that number is put on the dots that correspond to that item. You can see the 8 to 12 week plan here is still on a silver sticker, and that's because I swap it out to red when it's finished so I can keep track of that as well. And then because this spread wasn't busy enough for me, I also have been tracking my daily followers, viewers, subscribers, video views on every single day. I go in the next morning and I fill in all the numbers, and then over here I have been graphing them out, not every single day because it wouldn't fit horizontally here. I labeled the dates at the top. It's pretty much the first day of the calendar, the last day, and then all the Wednesdays and Saturdays in between. I just did some quick math to figure out how many days I could fit in there, and it turned out to be about twice a week. So that's how I set that up. And then I also added lines in here for whenever I published a video, so I could see if there was any serious change in my views or subscribers after a video was posted. And then at the bottom I just have my little tracker of total followers and subscribers. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to get into how to set up this spread on a fresh page and talk about how I go through my initial steps for planning and the things that I think about when I'm making one of these calendars. First things first, I'm switching out to my kind of test journal. This was an old bullet journal of mine. Now I use it to test out new spreads and do a little bit of artwork. For this spread, all you really need is a black pen or, whatever color of fine liner you want to use for your lines. I like to use black and then highlight with different colors. So I have my Pitt Artist Faber-Castell pen in medium. When I'm drawing up spreads, I like to put down dots for where all the squares are going to go, just so I know kind of what it's going to look like without laying down these big black lines. So I'm going to time lapse through this. Each grid square is 3 by 3, and I start with a couple of squares on the left as like a margin, and then I actually start the calendar, and then there's obviously 7 squares across because that's the number of days in a week. I like to start my weeks on Monday, so I'll be putting my labels at the top accordingly. You can start your weeks on Sunday or any day of the week that you prefer. And then I also like to go through and number these squares according to the actual days of the month. Now we have our basic calendar set up for the 8-week plan, and from here it really is about what you make of it. Like, you can put anything you want in each of these little squares. Now for this example, I think I'm gonna do like a programming schedule. So I'm a programmer by trade, and I have certain tasks I need to get done on certain days. And so I'm just gonna start by dividing this top part in 2, so I have room for 2 lists of tasks. Depending on how detailed of tasks you want to put in this plan, you may want to use the other page of the spread as your list instead, and in that case you might want to just go all the way and do a 12-week spread, or just make the grid squares a little taller if you want more room for that. And now the fun part is we actually get to sit down and plan out this project. And I want to show you these stickers I got. These really make the schedule a lot easier to work with. And they come in all kinds of colors, including a silver and gold metallic sticker. They are 5mm in diameter, which I think technically should fit exactly in these grid squares, but they're a little bit big. Ultimately, if you're not trying to put them all right next to each other, you can't really notice that they're a little too big for the squares. You'll see in some places where I do that, they do overlap a little bit, but it's not too noticeable. And mostly I just really like them because I can write on them with my Uniball Signo, and then I can pick them up and move them around if I want to change my plans. And that was the big thing that didn't work for my previous version of my social media tracker, was that if I wanted to change when a video was being posted or when I was filming it, or even just take a video off entirely, I had to like white it out or do some other crazy hack to cover it up. So I love color coding, as you know, and for this one I'm choosing a light blue to be an actual coding programming task, and then the dark blue is going to be review, because all of our code has to be reviewed by another programmer, and so that's going to be part of my schedule to leave time for review. You can use as many different colors and different things to code your calendar as you want. As you saw in my social media one, I had 3 different colors. There's really only the limit of how many colors you have on hand. So the next step of planning is actually to come up with what you need to do. So here I'm just filling in some really just made up programming tasks. We usually have IDs for all of our tasks in our system we use, so I just put those next to here to kind of make it look realistic. And I even went in and put in estimates for how long each of these things would take me. Again, these are just made up numbers, but this is kind of the process I would go through on a real schedule for something like this. And then I just give each of these a gray sticker, which I've decided is my color code for tasks which have not been started yet. And then with my trusty white Uniball Signo pen, I just give each of these a number, and this is just used for indexing. These numbers don't really mean anything. They don't even have to mean the order in which I do these, as I'll show you a little bit later. If the inspiration strikes you, you can put any kind of symbol on these stickers that you want. It doesn't have to be numbers. It just has to be unique so you can tell which sticker corresponds to which task item. And right out of the gate, I make a mistake here. I accidentally wrote a 2. I was just in the zone writing 1, 2, 3, 4. I just kept going. It should have been a 1, but I can just pull that sticker off, plop a new one on, and then I have, I can change these around as I see fit, and you can see there I can just pull them up, move them, and they're still like down on the page. There's probably a limit on how many times you can do this, but I haven't had a problem with stickers falling off because they've been moved too many times. One issue I have seen is that the gel ink will kind of flake off if I'm too rough with the stickers, but even if that happens, I can just put a new sticker down, or I can write again with the gel pen over the cracked ink, because the gel kind of sits on top of the sticker, so if your fingernails catch on the ink there, it will just kind of like scrape it off. Unfortunately, this spread can't do the planning for you, but it's pretty straightforward. I just start with each task and I think, how long is this task going to take me? And I put down light blue dots for the days that I think I'll work on coding, and then I put down a dark blue dot for days when I think it will be reviewed after the coding is done, so the second light blue dot. And you can place the dots to mean whatever you want, so I can place a dot for each day I plan to work on each of these tasks, or I can put a dot for a range, so like I could put a starting dot and an ending dot for the range of days that I want to work on it. I can just put a dot for the deadlines. It's really up to you. This is a very flexible spread, as most bullet journaling spreads are, and it can be changed to fit whatever you need. Now pretend I'm halfway through this month and I need to add another task. So I've added a 5th task here and labeled it with a 5, and it actually is not going to go at the end. I need to do it on this date in the middle. Since the numbers are just used as indexes or indices, you can just put them down wherever you want and the numbers still mean what they mean. You don't have to rewrite the whole list so that the numbers are in order, unless that's something you want to do. I think that's a bit much work. So I just add a number onto the list and then I put the dots where they need to go in the calendar. And you can also add a little key if you want to start tracking information for each of these days, like I have done on my social media spread. Since these little squares are so small, I like to use a really small pen like the Micron 005 or the Pitt Artist extra small nib, which I actually had to order separately. It didn't come in the pack of all the Pitt Artist pens. And what you actually track in this calendar is entirely up to you. For programming, something like hours spent working on it, or number of user story points, which is like a programming thing that I worked on each day, might be something I track. In this example, I added a little stars for how difficult that day of work was. I don't actually know if that's something I would use in real life, but it's just an example and I thought it would be kind of cute to add little icons. You can put whatever you want in these. That's the beauty of the bullet journaling system, is you can do anything you want. And I'm adding some more color coding here, like I always do. And in this example, the color coding is for what kind of programming task I was working on. So there are different pieces of games that you might work on, like the characters, actions, which is like the AI, or you might work on the user interface, different things. Again, the colors can mean whatever you want. You don't have to use colors. You don't have to use any of this. These are just examples, ways that I thought of to extend this spread so it is more useful to whoever wants to use it. So this is what it might look like if it was partially filled in the middle of the, I keep wanting to say month, the 8-week period. I just wanted to point out, you don't have to use the stickers if you don't want to buy the stickers. You can do what I was doing before and just kind of highlight the dots yourself, draw them in. The issue that I mentioned before is that you can't move these, so really you should only use this for plans that are pretty set in stone, or if you don't mind whiting things out or writing over them or putting little lines to move things around. It really bothered me, which is why I picked up the stickers. And if anyone knows of stickers which are just a little bit smaller, please let me know in the comments. I would love some stickers that fit inside the squares. The 5mm ones are just a little bit too big. I was not able to find any smaller stickers. And I will link everything below that I used, and I'm just gonna pull everything into frame here. My Uniball Signo was very useful for writing on the stickers. I have my Pitt artist pens, my Microns, and then my beloved Mildliners that I use for colors and highlighting and all kinds of little design things. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe so you can see my future videos. I've also been putting up some art videos which you might want to check out. And I just hope you have a lovely day. Feel free to put any comments you might have in the box below.